Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. And first and foremost, I want to thank a lot of the new people who came in and subbed and are watching videos. You guys have blown this channel up right out of the water. It blew my expectations. God is so good. That community that I want is building up really nice. It's pretty awesome. And as a tribute to you all, I thought maybe we could just coincidentally talk about something that I've been trying to read for like a month now. And every time I pick it up, I am just so put off with it. And this little review here, before I get to the good stuff today, is for Batman Detective Comics number 1000. Now, I've reviewed the Action Comics Superman number 1000. The 1000th issue of Detective Comics came and went a few years ago. And I was not in the loop much, and I just decided to skip over it. I bought a copy on my Kindle, and I've had it sitting here. So anyway, if you don't know, they did the same thing they did with the Action Comics Superman anniversary. It's been like 80 years of either of them. And they've cheated along the way to have this number hit. But now we're here, and it's a short story collection, just like the Action Comics one was. And the moment I found that out about Action Comics, I was kind of still optimistic. And then I read it, and I was like, oh no. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. But my heart sank when I found out this was going to be the same thing. So, yeah. I guess I can name off some of the people who are involved. Not all the names I'm saying here are writers. Most of them are artists. Well, no, most of them are writers, but some of them are artists that you're going to know and respect and love, probably. So, for example, the first story in here is actually Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, who did the New 52 run. That was pretty cool to see them back together, but up front, this story let me down, and to be very upfront, I liked maybe one story in the entire book. Just one. And surprisingly enough, it was Brian Michael Bendis who made the best story to me, and I never thought I would say that with his newer work he's been doing in recent years, especially over at DC. But yeah, you have those two. You have a Kevin Smith story in here with the art done by Jim Lee. You have Paul Dini working on this. Warren Ellis has a story in here, which I thought was kind of cool, I guess. It's kind of generic, but it was kind of cool. The art was really nice in that particular section to me. Let's see, we got Denny O'Neil. We got Steve Epting doing the arts for that story. We got Neil Adams and Christopher Priest together. We got Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev in a story called I Know, which I really enjoyed, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know what that one's about. It's basically elderly Bruce Wayne, who supposedly can't talk anymore. The Penguin comes to visit him and claims that he always knew Batman was Bruce Wayne and vice versa. And that one had a nice little ending to it that made me smirk. It's kind of what you would expect from this kind of story and from Batman, elderly or otherwise. But it made me laugh. I had a good time with it. The art was great there, dude. We have a Jeff Johns, Kelly Jones story. James Tynion IV has a story in here. Tom King. Ugh. The Tom King one ain't great, man. It's basically a selfie story. And if you don't know what I mean by that, because you haven't read it yet, go read it. Let's see if you like what it ends up being at the end of it. It's the typical ridiculous Tom King. If Tom King knew he was doing an anniversary short story, this is what he would do, and it does not surprise me whatsoever. And I'm not even like an anti-Tom King guy. I just cannot stand how people defend pretentiousness as style. You know what I mean? And that goes for anything. Movies, books, games, comics in this case. It's stupid. Has a really good shot in there of a lot of characters, but yeah. They got a lot of pinups in here. And then you have Medieval, written by Peter J. Tomasi, which it was what it was. Table for Two. I don't think I know who Robert Venditti is. I don't think I've ever heard of that guy. And the last one ends with Scott McDaniel and Alan Grant, called Through the Keyhole, that was about anarchy and, the actual character anarchy. And I wasn't super in love with that either. Anyway, I was not massively in love with the story collection, like I said. It's really, really a miss for me. Just like the Action Comics one was. It just feels like there's so much. This whole book is supposed to be a tribute in many styles and many creators to who that character is and how important they are, in my opinion, to history. not just to media, you know? But it's surprising to me you didn't have, like, I don't know, like tributes to the movies. To me, the Batman movies and stuff are so much bigger. Even like the Arkham games to me are bigger than any of the comics have ever been in recent decades, man. And I mean decades. I don't mean recent years. I mean fucking decades, man. Look at how many Batman fans just the Arkham games alone, especially Arkham Asylum, created. It's a big deal. And you can say, well, all of that comes from Batman and the comics and what they did there. To me, it doesn't do as well. I would have liked to have seen like a Michael Keaton like type of tribute, like I don't know, like a Batman '89 throwback. You know, get the likeness to Jack Nicholson and whatever. Do something with that. You know, you could do a nice little short story set during that movie. You could do that and get away with it. No one's gonna go after you over that. But like I said, my biggest disappointment was not just the short stories. I'm really figuring out more and more, especially after Carnage, Black, White, and Blood, or whatever it was called. I knew years ago that I was not a short story fan in comic form. I like them in regular, like, novel form. In comic form, it doesn't work. There's not enough time to develop things. Things that should be developed, in my opinion. There is no writer on this planet who can make, like, a 6-page or 7-page or even up to 10 pages in comic form work for them. Unless it's generic kiddie fodder, like what older comics used to be. I don't think you can pull that off now. Not with the type of decompressed comic storytelling we have. The satisfaction most of the time is not there, and I'm surprised to say this. I don't know if I already mentioned this in this attempt to record. I think the Action Comics 1000 is better than this book. Now, I'm a diehard Batman fan. I like some Superman here and there, not the most obsessed fan, you know, outside of a lot of the media, outside of the comics. And that's more coincidence. I just haven't read enough of his stuff. I think that book was better than this. I just do. I think a lot of the creators had better ideas there. And for a character that everybody considers to be so boring, that surprises me compared to what I saw here. Anyway, I really don't have much more to say about this, aside from the art. When you have people like Tony S. Daniel, when you have people like Greg Capullo, the art, the line work, all of that, the penciling in general is really, really great for those. But most of the stories, I would say a good at least 60%, 70%, I did not like the art. I did not think it was that good. Not that it had a great story to inspire it, so it's not probably always the artist's fault. Let's remember that with any comic, outside of this or inside of this. It's a shame, man. I wish there was better stories here. It's a big, big letdown, dude. Have you read Detective Comics number 1000? Do you love it? Do you hate it? You know, I complain about the short story tribute factor to this, but what could they have honestly done in the middle of a run of comics? I guess in this case it was the Tomasi run, right? I think. If I remember correctly, it's been a few months since I've been reading these. I think this is the Tomasi run that it's interrupting. What could they have actually done as a single great issue? Like in the DC Rebirth big old book years ago, the first one that kicks off the whole thing. What could they have done like that to make this so iconic? And they didn't have to change lore or change anything big. I think what they should have done, and technically that's what they did with 1000 of Action Comics and Detective. I think we should have gotten a graphic novel. I really do. And maybe there wasn't enough time to develop that. I don't know. But I wish they had done something like that. Make it really special, make it a big-ass book, make it a 200-page book. I don't even necessarily need color for Batman. I think you should because of how important it is to Batman in general. But if I got a black and white 1000, I wouldn't care. Why not just make them a graphic novel? I don't know. I think you could have done something really cool and really special with that. Maybe a new villain, maybe an old villain. It doesn't even have to be necessarily a giant tribute. Just do special, heartfelt moments with it. Maybe have a story of somebody appreciating Batman, or in the Action Comics one, a Superman type of thing like that. This character's an inspiration for many people. Why don't you just do something like that? Why did we have to have a bunch of junky short stories that feel to me more like a cash grab than anything? Is comics really in a bad place like that? I don't know, man. It's pretty sad to say that something this special, the ball was dropped so hard that it cracked the floorboards, you know? Anyway, if we ever happen to, and we won't in my lifetime because it took like 80 years to get here, if we ever happen to get to issue 2000 of Detective Comics. And if YouTube is still around all those years later, and you come across my video, take my advice, heed my warnings, and God forbid we make it to 2000, because the rehashings are already bad now, the lack of creativity is already bad now. If we make it to that far in, God help us, number one. But number two, please don't do this ever again with any character. Action Comics would have it probably first, but please don't do this again, the short story thing for a special anniversary. Nobody wants that. No one on the planet wants that. So anyway, what do you guys think? Put your thoughts and comments down below about Detective Comics number 1000. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite story, your favorite writer and artist, their combos, whatever. I'd love to hear all that down below too. And why does 50 pages of this book have to be nothing but covers? And just like pin up things that no one's going to rip out of their trade? Why? Why, I ask. Anyway, thank you guys. God bless you again. Catch you later, and goodbye.